Okay, if you do any doubt, you are free to ask. And this is the not this is website. Actually, you can go in www.machinedesign.top to see the animation. Directly, you can see that animation. Okay, in morning here we was, and we were seeing what are the various nomenclatures which are used while we are going to see this particular design procedure. Now we have seen the animation, and easily you can come to know which type of failure is taking place and at what places the failure may take place. Okay, so this all nomenclature we have seen in morning. We'll go further. First of all, we are going to take into account design of that shaft. Okay, for that we are going to consider it is undergoing for the tensile failure, and the area which is resisting to the tensile stress, this area we have to calculate. Okay, so first we are going to calculate the dimensions of the rod by considering tensile failure of that rod. Okay, where we are going to find out small d, that is the diameter of that rod. Here, as we have seen right now in the animation, that the failure is going to take place in the tensile load, and this area which is undergoing for the shear tensile load, that is going to resist to the tensile stresses which are generated here. So P is equal to pi by 4, that is the area. Force is equal to area multiplied by stress. So this stress value later on will take from the statement which will be given for the solving of problems. Okay, directly yield stress cannot be taken. We have to just apply the factor of safety criteria for that, and then we are going to take the sigma t as the allowable tensile stress for this particular component. Got it? We'll go further. And here the shear failure is considered as the tensile failure. So load is equal to stress multiplied by area. So area of resisting to the tension, that is pi by 4 d square multiplied by allowable stresses, that is sigma t. That has been written on this slide, formally which we have seen in the previous slide only. Okay, so from this equation we can calculate the diameter of that rod. Sometimes one can go for the standardization also. The standards which are available, that is nothing but in terms of the diameter of that rod, we can calculate the other dimensions. Okay, I will take the second thing into account, and we'll consider that the spigot. Okay, in animation we have seen it at last, spigot. Okay, we have seen first that sprocket. Later on we have seen the spigot, but we can change the sequence and we can calculate the dimensions. So let us consider that the failure is taking place for the spigot, and first of all we will consider the failure of that spigot is taking place because of the tension or tensile load. Okay, so spigot is a solid shaft and which is undergoing for the tension. So the area which we have to calculate, or area which is going to resist, is this area, and this area we have to calculate. So how we can calculate this area? By means of calculating the total area of this circle minus this rectangular area. Though it is not correct rectangular because it has a curvature on two sides, but we are going to consider it as approximate rectangle of size d2 multiplied by t. So we have to subtract that value, and we can calculate this tensile stress is equal to tensile force divided by tensile resisting area. So this sigma T is equal to P divided by area is pi by 4 d2 square minus d2 multiplied by T, that area which is subtracted. So directly we can calculate the value of tensile force is equal to pi by 4 d2 square minus d2 multiplied by T into tensile stress sigma T. Any question related to this? At every stage, you just consider how we are going to derive that formula. Okay. In actual exam also, you have to solve problems based on these formulas. Okay. One clear-cut statement will be given. Design a sprocket and spigot quarter joint for transmitting 15 kilonewton force in tensile mode or in compressive mode, that can be considered. Okay, because for the tensile and compressive we are going to consider as the same sort of force and stresses are induced. Okay, so it has become easy now while we have seen, because we have seen the animation, to imagine all the things and understand how these formulas are derived. Now by empirical relationship also, about which I was talking, these other values can be calculated in terms of standard value of the diameter of that rod. That also you can do, but if you are going to calculate these values, that is the D3 outer diameter of that sprocket, or A as the dimension which we are going to put inside that socket, or T1, that is the thickness which we are going to consider for the collar. These values can be calculated, but these values we have to check for the respective type of stresses which may be induced inside that particular component. Okay, so just for the understanding, here I have written the formulas by means of which these are the empirical formulas are coming from the experience. Okay, and standard design procedure. So for that, spigot and socket sprocket quarter joint, these are some formulas which are coming because of the experience of designer. It doesn't mean that they are going to give a wrong result, but once you calculate these all values, just we have to check it for the stresses which are induced inside that particular component. So now we'll consider the crushing failure of the spigot. Now crushing, that is nothing but compressive type of stresses are coming on that spigot, where the pin is going to see here. If the quarter is inserted here, we'll take one more. Yeah, this. Okay, we'll take this particular diagram for understanding what the crushing stresses means. This rod is not allowing to shear out or to have the failure at this point, but this pin is pulling from both sides. If suppose consider that this quarter or pin is very strong, then what will happen here at this area, at the junction of this rod, actually it is not rod, it is a spigot and this pin, which area here we can see this total area which is inside, okay, this area, it will undergo to the crushing. Am I right? This pin will press against the spigot, and hence that area will have sort of crushing over there, and you can put your two fingers and you can apply load for the crushing. You will find that it is nothing but compressive load. So compressive stresses will be generated over there. Are you getting me? If you are going to push two fingers opposite to each other, they will have crushing over there. So we can say it is a nothing but compression or compressive type of stresses only. Getting? So we have to calculate the compressive stresses over there which are generated, which are resisting on that area which is resisting. Then if that stresses or that value is below the allowable value, then we can consider that these crushing stresses are not going to have any failure, or they are not creating failure in that component. Okay, so we have seen it for the spigot. Likewise, we can see it for the sprocket also and for the pin also. Okay, so just keep in mind that this crushing is nothing but value of compressive stress only we have to take. Okay, any doubt related to this? Okay, we'll go to the further. Now, if suppose that crushing stresses are calculated, which we have not seen in the animation, but here we can imagine that how the crushing is taking place. Now here we'll consider that failure is occurring because of the shearing out of that spigot. Okay, so shearing is taking place in the spigot at two areas, one side, this side, and other side, which is hidden behind this spigot. Okay, this is the second side which is taking out, or which is, or shearing is taking place. So just we have to calculate the dimensions multiplied by 2, that will be the area, right? So area which is resisting will be the 2 into bracket d2, that is nothing but the thickness of this rectangle, that is the diameter of that spigot, multiplied by t. This shear is taking place equal to the thickness as thickness of that quarter, right? So everywhere this thickness will be equal to the quarter. That's why you have to multiply it by, okay, while we are going to consider the upper side and this side. So this t has not to be considered here, not required, because we are not going to calculate that area. Just we are interested to calculate this red area. So here we can take this height of rectangle multiplied by width of this rectangle as a, which we have considered as a part which is inserted inside the socket, and later on after the pin, this pin or quarter is inserted here now, and remaining part we have considered as a is the length after the quarter. Okay, so a multiplied by d2, that will be the resisting area, as it is two side, that's why 2 is multiplied, and shearing is taking place, that's why shear stress. So force is equal to area multiplied by stress. Stress is shear stress. Got it? Any question? Am I going too fast? Let me know. I'm completing this part very fast because we have seen the animation, and we can easily understand how that area is undergoing to the respective failure. Only thing is that we have to calculate the area. Okay, and we have to understand because of which type of stresses this failure may occur. So if you are capable to find out the stress and undergoing area or resisting area, then easily you can generate this formula. Formula is simple, very simple. Force is equal to area multiplied by allowable stress. Got it? Now, we'll consider design of socket. Now, for the design of socket, what values we have to calculate? Outer diameter of that collar, then the width of that collar, and the C, that is the part which is after the quarter of that joint. Oh, I see. And to go again, once again, to the main drawing point. So here, this part is C. Okay, we are having this diameter as a D4, this outer diameter, this diameter as a D1. Okay, so dimensions which we have to consider, this D4 from here to here, C, and this outer diameter at this place. Okay, so one can ask this question, why always we have considered failure where the quarter is inserted inside this socket? I'll ask this question. Okay, just give me 1 minute. We'll go to the slide where we are going to consider that failure. Okay, here. Now, when we are going to consider the failure of that socket is taking place in the tension, okay. So what actually we are going to do? We are going to consider this failure is occurring here. Why we are not considered failure which is occurring at this place? We are not considered this plane as a plane of failure. Why we are considered here only? Can you just give me answer? This is a part of socket. Am I right? Why we have considered this failure at this groove which has been made? This groove which has been made on this socket. Here only we have considered this plane at which the failure is going to take place. Why? Is it critical point over there that we have to consider that plane only? Why we have not considered this plane? Are you getting my question?
Yes, sir, getting, sir.
Then why we have not considered it? हा जो प्लेन आहे, जो प्लेन ऑफ फेल्युअर, आता इथं मी त्यांच्या एवढा काढतो. हा जो प्लेन ऑफ फेल्युअर आहे ते मी इथं का घेतला नाही? इथं का घेतलाय? हा, कोणी सांगू शकेल? कॉमेंट मध्ये लिहिताय कोण? Yes, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. You can give whatever may the answer which you are knowing. Yes. Wow.
I think, sir, this is a area of spigot.
Okay. Area of spigot is inserted. Rakesh Biradar had given answer that hollow or rigid. That is the difference. See, which part will be more strong? Whether it hollow part will be more strong or rigid part will be more strong?
Rigid, sir.
rigid part will be more strong, right? And this hollow part will be weak. If we calculate the dimensions in such a way that for this applied external tensile load, this hollow part is going to sustain it, then no doubt about the rigid part, because rigid part is more stronger than the hollow. म्हणजे आपण एकदा hollow साठी जर तो part डायमेन्शन्स कॅल्क्युलेट केले किंवा टेन्साईल फेल्युअर साठी त्याला रेजिस्टिव्ह बनवलं तर सॉलिड साठी तर ऑटोमॅटिक होणार आहे, राईट? Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So that's why this plane of failure is considered at this place only. Okay. Okay. Now failure is taking place because of the tensile stresses. So tensile load is equal to P is equal to area multiplied by stress. Now we have to calculate this area. How we have calculated this area? That while we have seen the animation, this area is calculated as the total area of outer circle minus area of inner circle minus this rectangular parts. Now this rectangular parts having values equal to d1 minus d2, here also d1 minus d2, and its width is t. So d1 minus d2 multiplied by t multiplied by 2. T is written here. Okay. So pi by 4 d1 square minus pi by 4 d2 square minus 2 into t multiplied by d1 minus d2. That will be the area. So we'll see on next slide that formula. So here this area is calculated as pi by 4 d1 square minus d2 square. Pi by 4 is taken common, okay, from the bracket, minus d1 minus d2 multiplied by width, that is t, and it has to be again multiplied by 2. Oh, whether it will be 2 or not? No, it will not be 2. Why? Why 2 is not considered here? Though this rectangle is at two sides. इथं 2 लिहिलेलं नाही आणि लिहायचं पण गरज नाही. इथं 2 लिहायची गरजच नाही. जरी हे रेक्टँगलवर 2 आहेत तरी आपण तिथं 2 लिहिलेलं नाही. का लिहिलेलं नाही कोण सांगू शकेल?
So not in action, so that.
No, they are in action, no problem. But area which has to be subtract d1 minus d2 म्हणजे ही पण लेंथ अधिक ही लेंथ होते ना, बरोबर आहे का? d1 minus d2 केलं तर काय होईल? हा पार्ट आहे प्लस हा पार्ट होईल ना. आर यू गेटिंग मी or not? जर मी d1 minus d2 by 2 केलास तर एवढाच आला असता आणि d1 minus d2 by 2 केलास तर परत एवढाच आला असता. इथे जर डिवाइड बाय 2 केला असतं तर एक पार्ट आला असता, त्याचा एक साइड आली असती, बरोबर आहे का? किंवा मग r1 minus r2, मग त्याला डिवाइड बाय 2 करायची गरज नव्हती. But here we have subtracted this length from this total length. Subtracting part will be take your own time for the understanding. हे फक्त सबस्ट्रॅक्ट केलंय आपण त्यातनं. हे दोन्ही तसंच राहिलं ना. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
sir.
Yeah, that's why 2 is this. Though you are writing 2, this will get cancelled to each other. So final formula will be P is equal to force is equal to area multiplied by stress. Stress is tensile stress. Failure is we are considering in tensile. So area is pi by 4 into bracket d1 square minus d2 square bracket complete minus d1 minus d2 into T whole bracket complete multiplied by tensile stress. Got it? So don't listen only. You have to just practice for these formulas. You have to practice it, how we can derive these formulas, how we can consider that particular failure, so that you are able to solve the problems based on this. Okay. So today we'll stop here. Thank you for listening me. If you had any doubt, you are free to ask. You can write in chat box. If you want to repeat some part, I will repeat it. If not, you can write your roll number in chat box and we'll stop here.
Whether everybody has written their roll number, Sujit Mane, Sadashiv Bandgar, Rohit Kadam, Rahul Chaudhary, Rishikesh Deshmukh. If you have written your roll numbers, then just you can mention and you can leave meeting. Thank you for listening me. Rahul Chaudhary, are you listening me? Rahul?